Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have another major update regarding the 2024 election. Tucker Carlson coming out, totally vindicating me. I was right all along with the Obama tweet and it really being disingenuous. He's got a huge scoop. We've also got other stuff with Hunter Biden now. It's come out. He's one of Joe's top advisors. And now Joe, he might be considering Hunter for the VP spot, maybe kicking out Kamala. So this is huge stuff. Now, first, I mean, you can see right here, we've also got Jill acting like the president. We've got the big Vogue magazine. She knows the past week everyone's been speculating that she's potentially running her husband and kind of trotting him out there. And she's really the one behind everything. And apparently multiple sources have said she loves the power. She loves the prestige of the White House, of the presidency, of Air Force One. She doesn't want to give it up. And you see these crazy pieces that come out. The First Lady, Jill Biden, we will decide our future. And so it's such a weird dynamic. It's almost like the Obama-Biden dynamic that I've been talking about, where it's so obvious. Yes, technically Obama cannot be the president again. But if you look at Biden and you look at Obama and you ask, who is more there in terms of actually being fit to run the country, I mean, it's not even a question. And it's the same thing with Jill. Now, obviously, Jill, is not Barack. She's never actually been president. She's never been voted in. But the dynamic where Jill, in terms of her cognitive ability, is still I would say an 8, 9 out of 10, where Biden's is like a 2 out of 10. It's such a weird thing. And we saw the strange post debate thing where they went to the pizza place, or what was it, a Waffle House, and they had, before that, they went to some weird after party, and that's when Jill was like, you did so good, you answered all the questions, and I think she would even admit that's a bad look. And you've got Joe there, he's got he didn't have his death stare, but Joe does go into his death stare a lot, where he's like, and that's the real scary thing with Joe, when he does that. And he did it during the debate a lot, and people were zooming in on it. It's crazy. But the thing is with Joe and Jill, the names are very close. Jill is getting all of this attention now. Monday morning, they released this piece on her. She knows that people think she's running things, and she's basically bragging about it with pieces like this. So yes, by default, we kind of have our first female president with Jill Biden. So I said it yesterday. Congratulations to her. This is huge right here. We've got Tucker Carlson coming out and saying from a good source, Obama's tweet supporting Joe was disingenuous. In private, Obama is telling people Biden can't win and that he is therefore in favor of an open convention. Obama will not say whom he supports, nor as of yesterday had he personally met with Biden to deliver the message. Relations between the Obamas and Bidens have never been warm. At times they've been hostile. And apparently it came out that Michelle was very pissed off at the way the Bidens were treating their daughter-in-law. And of course, with something like that, that's not going to be public unless she wants it to be public. So right now, Tucker's 100% right. And I was right when I talked about the token tweet, and all the Republicans were like, well, that seals it. Obama's still supporting Joe. No, Obama just gave a token little tweet admitting Biden sucked and that, there's going to be better days for him. Obama wants someone else. Now, it says in this tweet, apparently, that right after the debate, Jill totally isolated Joe because she knew that the narrative was going to be terrible and toxic. And Joe, it's come out. I mean, I think New York Times came out and said it yesterday. New York Times had said that Joe was embarrassed by his debate performance, but Jill is pushing him. Hunter Biden, now one of the top advisors to Joe, has been pushing him. It was really Jill and Hunter, and they were reporting mainly Hunter, saying that, Daddy, you need to stay in the race. He loves this family. They love the power. It's so obvious it's time for Joe to go. Now, it also says, you can see, that Obama doesn't know who he's going to support. And you really can't blame him. There's no great choice unless it's his wife, and it really doesn't seem like it's going to be her. The speculation is that she would be the real only other one with a shot. I don't see any unknown from the Democratic Party having much of a chance just because the name recognition isn't there, and I think Trump would only agree to possibly one debate. You don't want to fuel anything. Even with someone like Gavin Newsom, I don't see it. So they don't really have anyone. Do they go with Michelle? Do they retread Hillary? I highly doubt that. It'll be interesting. You can see it's been reported Jill is the driving force behind Joe's re-election campaign, just as she was in 2020, when many other members of their family, including Biden's sister Val, and apparently it came out that she's very pissed off at Jill as well, considered him too impaired to run. The next generation of potential Democratic candidates understand this, and they are circling Gretchen Whitmer, apparently coming at this super aggressive. So it's not necessarily Newsom, it is Whitmer. And let me just say, I have found it very peculiar that on a lot of these betting sites, obviously you're going to see Obama, you're going to see Biden, you're going to see Newsom, you're going to see possibly Hillary, but there's also been Gretchen Whitmer, who's like, kind of a no-name. Obviously she's known, but just in general, it's like, why would she be involved in this? There's got to be some type of insider news that's pushing her up in comparison to what everyone is talking about, which is Newsom, Biden, Obama, maybe Hillary, and then she's there at like 3%. It's very odd. So Tucker's getting a good source here, and he's admitted that, yes, I was right. The token tweet of supporting Biden, Republicans read way too much into that. That was just token support, and it was a shield to really think about what they wanted to do and give themselves time. And I'm sure something's probably going to come out about Biden, possibly from a doctor or something, giving him some type of diagnosis if they do go this route. But there is the power struggle with Jill saying we're not giving it up. Hunter now angling, advising Joe, saying you need to keep going, Daddy. It's so important. So all of this is happening. It's Jill. And apparently now it's come out Kamala Harris is very pissed. So this is a total mess what's going on with the Democrats right now. Kamala Harris realizes what's going on. She says that she should be elevated. It would be terrible, but they could potentially swing it, especially if it's a female going above Kamala. They could swing it and say, well, it's the dual female ticket. Kamala gets passed up. She's fine with just being the VP. I really don't think she is, but they might force her to stay as the VP. But if they elevate Newsom, that'd be a problem for them in terms of optics, because that's a white male vaulting over minority female, which is a big issue with the Democrats and what they believe in here in 2024. So I don't think they would vault Newsom up. This was something that I had talked about like 6 or 7 months ago, but I haven't really brought it up recently. The optics of vaulting Newsom above Kamala. I mean, honestly, I don't even think they care at this point. They're trying to win. But it is horrible optics, especially when you consider them with inclusion and everything, and only choosing Kamala. And this is what I had said. They only picked Kamala because Biden was the nominee. Originally, a lot of the big-time donors were backing Kamala. She was, the minority female, and it was her game. And so they backed her right before the debates. She got embarrassed by Tulsi Gabbard, and she dropped out completely. And then they all backed Biden and told every other person, because they didn't want Bernie to win, to back Biden and conceal the vote with him. So he ends up, being the nominee, and then Kamala is vaulted into that VP position because you look at the optics with the Democrats, you've got like a 78-year-old white man, in 2020 running. That doesn't look very good. You have to go with minority female as the VP. That's the least you can do. This is the way they think. When they look at it, I'm not kidding, they view Biden as a double negative white male. They view Kamala as a double positive minority female. I'm serious. So they had to choose Kamala. She had, this has screwed them completely. Imagine if they had a good VP, like a Josh Shapiro or someone who's up and coming. He would have already had his name in the news for years. They could do this smooth transition, elevate him, but they chose the wrong VP because it was really like a PR optics thing. And now it's all come out, and it's Jill versus Kamala versus Obama. It is a total gulag here with the Democrats and what's going on, and we'll have to see. But this is very important when it comes to this scoop. Let's see what we have here. Just to be clear, Biden didn't fire anyone over Afghanistan. Well, yeah, the Afghanistan mess was crazy. A lot of Americans don't understand this. This is intel you're going to want to hear. So it's come out that the Pentagon, about a few months after the whole debacle, said that Biden completely disobeyed what we said. We wanted to keep 2,500 troops still in the city, or else the Taliban was going to take over. We told Biden that, and then the Biden administration swung it like, oh, it was a 50-50 decision. Some of the strategists were saying you should all evacuate at the same time. And then you've got the dive bomber coming down and killing 13 Americans at the airport, and then the planes taking off. And they're not even fully closed. The cargo hatch is left wide open. You leave millions and millions of dollars in equipment behind. And then they try and gaslight and say, well, Trump wanted the troops out of Afghanistan. Yes, that was a bipartisan agreement that everyone wanted them out, but it was supposed to be a slow withdrawal to really control that situation and not have what happened. So that was really Biden's fault. I mean, even the Pentagon's come out and said, no, we said you need to leave some troops back. Otherwise, it's going to be a total mess if you try and get everyone out at the exact same time. It makes no sense. It has to be done in stages. And that's why they said you need to keep 2,500 soldiers there. You can send everyone else away. But that's really what happened with Afghanistan. And they've tried to swing it like Biden's a hero for getting everyone out. No, that was done in the worst way possible. Trump actually started that and made a deal and said, we will get our troops out by a certain date. And it was kind of a token deal. They really didn't have to get the troops out immediately, but Trump wanted a soft withdrawal and really to organize things. And they've tried blaming Trump now and saying Biden's a hero for getting everyone out of Afghanistan. And they tried swinging it like it's 50-50. Oh, some of the analysis said to get everyone out at the same time. No military protocol will agree. You're trying to leave a place where you're not welcome. And you've got, a terrorist fraction coming in. You do not want to do that. It's like ripping a Band-Aid off of an open wound. It is not smart. We've got a fact check. I've carefully reviewed the debate, despite partisan and allied media spin to distract from President Biden's evident dementia. There were no Trump lies. Well, look, I mean, Trump did say some things that weren't true, but the point is that they tried spinning it and it's this fake bipartisan where they're like, oh, we admit Biden sucked at the beginning, but at least he's better than Trump in terms of the topics. It's just not true at all. They have to cope and try and say, oh, but Biden was better and in terms of the actual substance. I think Trump did lie. I mean, I don't really agree with that, but maybe he was just more of an exaggeration. This is actually big news when you look at the 25th Amendment. And I remember watching a TV show, actually, Designated Survivor. They tried the 25th Amendment on Tom Kirkman. And this actually aligns with what they would do. It would be Kamala possibly going behind Biden's back to try and remove him. And Kamala would insert herself. So with something like the 25th Amendment, logistically, it seems like it would be very hard for them to elevate anyone other than Kamala unless there was also something wrong with Kamala. Or I guess maybe Kamala would agree to some type of open convention. But if you do the 25th Amendment where the vice president and a majority of the principal officials of the executive departments transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the speaker with their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, which can certainly be argued when it comes to the situation with Biden. So this could be a legitimate thing. Upon the declaration, the VP shall immediately assume the powers and duties of being the president. So they would have to really convince Kamala to say, no, we're going to have an open primary. You need to agree to it. I don't know if that's legal. I'm sure they could twist something and get it done. This is their potential loophole if they want to be on the ballot in every state. At least that's what I can read from this. It would be the 25th Amendment. That's how it would be done. You do have this with Kamala Harris. I mean, obviously Kamala is not tweeting this, but whoever, is her little advisor there. Donald Trump would ban abortion nationwide. Trump's had the ultimate strategy when it comes to being a Republican with abortion because it's such a rigid topic. He said, no, it's a state decision. We're going to leave it up to them. And so that's what he's come out and said. So him saying, I mean, it's just blatantly false. Why would you say something like that? And again, I know she's not controlling her Twitter, but it is crazy. We've also got the new report, the Wall Street Journal coming out and saying Biden was so feeble at a recent G7 summit. I do remember that summit happening, that he needed help reading talking points and missed a dinner of world leaders. But you remember in France, he pooped himself and they had to leave the event. Gilles had to take him back and change his diaper. And Macron, the French leader's like, where is he? Did you see that video? That was for the D-Day celebration. And so now more things are coming out that even at the G7, and this had come out before, it was 2 days or maybe a week before the actual debate, that Biden was struggling. He missed a dinner. He couldn't even talk. He's wandering away from everyone. And they tried to write it off like, oh, it's no big deal. It obviously is total crap. So that's basically going to do it for this video. The big stuff in this, I mean, you've got Jill coming out and she is rubbing it in all of our faces. Monday morning, Vogue, huge front cover. She's saying, I'm the president, deal with it. Maybe there's some infighting, although I don't think so, but I think Hunter now is Biden, or is Joe's one of his top advisors, because he's like firing all his advisors. And so now Hunter wants to try and elevate himself and really enter the political game. And could we get a father-son duo with Joe and Hunter, the ultimate dream team, and they would obviously beat Trump? Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, but this is the huge stuff with Tucker Carlson saying that Obama, his tweet was disingenuous. We could read it from a mile away. Obama, if this is right, wants someone else. We don't know who. Maybe it is Whitmore, because he also said that later at the bottom of that tweet. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.